let's say I had a bad CEO for my company. I was homeless my last 5 years in the States. I knew I had to either leave or I was going to be in my car. Fortunately, at the time, I had a van. I got hit in the side with my van, basically totaled it, and lived in Catholic vet's home. I quit on like the second or third, and on the fifth, I left for Vietnam. Everything is very friendly toward outsiders. It's so worth it to live here. Was riding on a scooter, and I hit a deep hole. I got into the hospital, and I spent 7 full days there. Literally, I paid $75, and that was no insurance.
This is Dan of Vagabond Awake, and today we have Richard on the interview. Richard, welcome to Vagabond Awake.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
So Richard, what's your home country and where in the world are you sitting right now?
I'm in Dalat, Vietnam. I'm from the U.S.
How long have you been in Dalat?
I've been here 3 years.
3 years. Wow, that's quite a stretch. Yeah. Is this your first time living overseas?
Not my first time. I did a long time ago. I was a pilot flying for Chiquita Banana in Honduras. So I flew down there for a while.
Wow, that must have been some interesting airstrips.
Your 1973-74 Chiquita bananas were brought to you by me, spraying insecticide or fungicide, whatever it was I was spraying.
And so 3 years there. So how did you pick Vietnam?
Kind of give you a little bit of background. I was homeless. Let's say I had a bad CEO for my company, and he decided to take over. So I was homeless my last 5 years in the States, and I was always online in my car. I came across Vagabond, and I started watching you. I knew I had to either leave or I was going to be in my car. I chose my car over a place because it was either have a car or have a place, and I chose my car. And fortunately, at the time, I had a van. What happened was I was watching all the van movies, you know, how to fix up your van and do all those kinds of things. Somewhere along the line, one of your videos popped up and living somewhere else in the world. And I thought, well, I'm a Vietnam vet, and I was looking, and I thought, well, where would I want to go? And I thought, well, why not try and go back? Let's go back to Vietnam or somewhere in Southeast Asia, but it's got to be somewhere mountainous because I couldn't stand the heat here the first time. And I said, okay, I've got to find a place in the mountains. I found a place in the Philippines, Baguio City, I believe it was called, and Dalat, Vietnam. And there was literally not much else out there except for Sapo, and that was up in the mountains north of Hanoi. And so it was those three places. And then you did an interview with a guy by the name of Larry.
Oh, yeah, Larry, sure.
Yeah. Larry had lived 5 years in Baguio City, and now he lived in Dalat. He was telling you that, and he says, and Dalat's a lot better. And it was like, end of story, that's where I'm going. And so literally from then on, it was, okay, how do I get to Dalat? I literally said, okay, this is my time frame. And I looked at my options, and I said, okay, this is when I'm going to go. But right now I want to travel out west. I wanted to go up to Washington, see an old friend of mine. I started out going there, and I got hit in the side with my van, basically totaled it. And so there I am in Oregon, no van. My insurance covered it. So I got myself back to Wyoming, which was where I was from. I had lived in Wyoming for about 10 years. So 5 years I had a friend where I lived, and then I lived the last 5 years in the van. And I got back there, and I said, well, how am I going to I've got 5 days left in this rental car. I thought, okay, I need help from vets. So I contacted the VA, and they said, well, here's your only option. Okay, you've got to go to Colorado. So I went to Colorado and lived in Fort Collins in a Catholic vet's home. And so this was like 2 days before Christmas, 2022, I guess. I was looking at Vietnam. This is time to pull the trigger here. There I was in this vet place, figuring I'm going to spend 6 days in this vet's place. When you are in a vet's place, you suddenly realize that you're the only one that's not crazy. And, everybody else that was in the vet's place was either drug related, prison related. I typed in Vietnam, got all that stuff into the computer, and it says, it ain't open. And I was like, what do you mean it ain't open? And so there I was sitting there going, it ain't open. And all I could think of was they are not letting people in. And the earliest they were letting people in was in March. So I'm there and I turn around and tell the director that, well, I'm not going to be here for 6 days. I'm going to be here for a while. Can I stay? I thought, okay, I've got to earn some money because all I have basically is my Social Security, when that's what you have. But I still haven't got enough money, and I know I need to earn some money. And so I ended up getting a job as a janitor. And I just want you to know that I really, truly appreciate janitors now. This was in a high school, some amazing work that they have to do over and over and over because of the fumes that I had to withstand being a janitor. I had to quit, and I thought, I've got to earn some more money. And so I went to work at Home Depot. The only job that they had open was a midnight, it was a 9 o'clock to 6 a.m. shift. What I had to do was restock, and you'll love this. So I'm restocking, and there's all these incredible small parts like aisle 8 and 9, all the packages on this huge cart that I was opening. I had to open little packages like this and like this and like this and like this, and keep open, and each one of them had something in them from Vietnam. I guess this is a hint. So anyway, I finally I heard that it opened. It was like May 5th that it was going to open. And I said, okay. Quite honestly, I had to lie to my managers because they wanted me to be, oh, you're a good old employee. You're 75. Where you're not, the only thing that you're going to do on us is die. At the end, I had to say, well, I have to leave. I gave them the bad news, and they were not happy about it. I quit on like the 2nd or 3rd, and on the 5th, I left for Vietnam. I arrived here on the 7th. I spent a week in Hanoi, just walking around the old quarter and enjoying the old quarter there. I headed up to Dalat. When I got here, I had a week in a hotel, and at the end of the week, I had already gotten a place. I got in a place. I had given her the down payment for, I think it was like for 3 months. And so the night I go out into Dalat City, my cab driver of course, knows no English. I know no Vietnamese. The only thing I can remember from way back was same. We're going down the street. I'm trying to find the place. I'm trying to call the lady that has the place. I finally get in touch with her. Of course, she knows no English. There I am on the street with the cab driver. We've stopped. There's a lady and her daughter standing in the street, and he talks to her, who talks to the daughter, who talks to her, talks back to him, and then to the person who has the place for rent, and she says, I've rented it.
Oh, wow.
And so I've got no place now. This is 8:30 at night. It's dark out, and I'm going, oh shit. And the daughter finally talks to me, who knows a little bit of English, and she says, we have a place to rent. Would you like to rent it? Sold. So they basically brought me home. And they had a very big, nice room. And so for the next 3 months, I spent with a beautiful balcony, just a really nice room. And I was not too far from this smaller area of Dalat that I have continued to live in to this day, in the same area, because it's such a nice area of Dalat. And I met a guy who helped me out, and he said, "Hey, I met him on that huge area in front of the lake that you know about."
Oh, sure. By the mall. Okay. Yeah. Right in front of the mall, there's a big area.
Was walking there, and some guy says, "Howdy, how you doing?" And I turned around. There was an American, some guy from Texas, and he had an old Vietnamese guy there who had moved to the United States, and he also could speak decent English, and they introduced me to another guy who was in the process of finding a new place for himself. I literally followed him, and I got the apartment next to his, which was a beautiful apartment overlooking a beautiful valley, green trees, and it was wonderful. Then was riding on a scooter, and I hit a deep hole that was covered in water.
Oh boy.
And it stopped this scooter, and I broke 4 ribs, cracked 3 others, had a lung embolism.
Wow.
And I sat there on the street, and people picked me up and moved me over to the side, and I tried walking around, and let's just say it was intense. And I got home. I walked home. As you know, everything in 𝐷eLotte is a steep hill. Well, this one was extra steep. I spent 4 or 5 days at home, and I said, I'm not getting any better. And I got to the good hospital that's in town. There's kind of 2 different hospitals in town. I got into the hospital. When I would move or try to get up, I would literally start to scream. I couldn't help myself. But I got to the hospital, and I felt like I was in the old guys ward. There were about 5 other guys that were my age or older, and half of them looked like they were like me, like they were dying. I was hooked up to a intravenous, the thing and I spent 7 full days there. I was finally able to get up and walk around. And keep in mind, I was pretty much alone. The only thing I had coming in to me were my friends, and they were feeding me. Okay, so my food came in via them, because I couldn't make it down to the lunch area there. But all of my shots, everything that I paid for there, I got done. Literally, I paid $1.7 million for 7 days in the hospital.
Yeah.
That's $75 in 3 years ago money. Today it's $64. But that was with seeing a doctor, all the meds. I was waiting for it to be, huge. That's what it was. And that's no insurance. All you have to do is make sure you pay. And that was the idea, But I had a doctor who looked at me every day. I had all the drugs, and somewhere after that, I'll say probably about a year, maybe somewhere in there, you sent me a link to Larry. So Larry still lives here, and we meet about once a week or once every 2 weeks and have lunch together and chit chat. And he tells me about, his girlfriend, and I'll talk to him about my girlfriend or, whatever. And I now live in a bigger place. As I say, I live with 3 women or 3 cats, depending on how you want to look at it. And I have a really nice place. I bought a washing machine and go out to dinner, when I am able to. When I say I'm able to, meaning right now it's the rainy season, and so sometimes it's kind of nasty, and I would just stay home, and I would just rather stay home and eat here.
Retirees that are thinking about living overseas often ask me, like, cost of living stuff. What's your monthly average cost of living there in 𝐷eLotte, Vietnam, Richard?
It kind of varies, because I've helped some people along and they needed money. My rent is about $300 a month. I'm carnivore, so I eat a lot at home. So I have a meat bill, but I don't have any vegetables that I have to buy. So my rent, my Wi-Fi, my electricity, my water, it's all included in that 300.
Okay.
So all of that is included, but I don't have a scooter. I walk everywhere. I've got a beautiful neighborhood. Go have coffee in the morning. I've never considered myself a gym rat, but I go to the gym, and that costs me about $1.5 million every 3 months.
Right.
So what's that, $60 every 3 months, I guess.
Okay.
Coffee, depending on where I go, it can be anywhere from 30,000 to 70,000, which is what, $1.50 to $3
Yeah.
for coffee. Eggs, they went crazy in America for eggs there for a while. I think my eggs are 11 cents each. They sell them by the tens. No dozens over here. Nothing, everything's organic over here as far as I can see. My girlfriend has expenses. I hand her money on occasion. So I would say that I fit into my Social Security, and my Social Security when I came over here was about 8.
I made my playlists easier to find. On your phone or computer, click Vagabond Awake below any video. That will take you to my channel. Then click the Playlist tab. Then look for the country you are interested in: Philippines, Mexico, Vietnam, Albania, whichever one, expat interviews, and country comparisons, or binge on all the videos. Once you click any playlist, you can select which videos from that playlist to watch, or watch them all.
Social Security when I came over here was about 1,800. And now that I don't have an expensive girlfriend, I I am able to save money again. That was always kind of an issue. So, but now I'm good. I don't have a lot of expenses at all.
Any thoughts about going back, or do you like Vietnam?
None. I am here. This is home. I am home. 𝐷eLoT stays, gets up to all of 80 in the winter. Right now it's probably about 65 out. So it's, end quote, a little chilly.
Yeah.
For the locals, they this is, oh my God, it's cold.
And what about you do visa runs, I assume? What do you do for those, and what do those cost?
Okay, so my visa usually runs about 300 by the time I'm done. Okay, because I fly to Saigon, and I have a bus once every 3 months. I've been to Bangkok. I've done Singapore and Kuala and that kind of thing, and I'm done there. Now I just want to get there, get back, get done. So I can go to Saigon in the morning and be back in 𝐷eLoT that evening. Well, the taxi cost me 500,000 dong, which is about $20 to get to the airport. Flight is 100, maybe 109. Sometimes I can get it for 60 or 70 dollars. I'm talking dollars now.
That's round trip, right?
Yeah, that's round trip, and then I have to pay another 3.5 million dong to get the bus to go through the border to go over to the other side. I sit there and I wait for about 3 hours. We get there about 8, 9 in the morning. And then we'll go across the border, minimum line standing time, hopefully, and then come back. I'm usually back within an hour, issue a new, that e-visa, come back to Saigon at about 3. And then depending on your flight, I can get a flight out about 5 to be back in 𝐷eLoT and be home by 7. My visa runs are fairly painless now. It's so worth it to live here. I don't know where everybody else is coming from, but I was coming from living in a van, and I'm home. They're going to carry me out feet first. I'm here for the duration.
Give us an idea. How does it feel different in general, though?
Well, I feel at home here is, I think, the biggest thing. I didn't come here to be entertained. I came here to live. I've done all the crazy and dangerous stuff that I can do in my lifetime. I flew a helicopter 10 years in Alaska. I did everything that you can possibly do, right and wrong. Put 2 in the dirt while I was in Vietnam. I flew in Vietnam. I'm with incredibly friendly people that will bend over backwards. That's why I told you about that first story, because everybody was there to help. The cab driver stuck around for, I think, 2 extra hours so that I could be taken care of by these ladies. And everybody I meet, I've met a new friend. He's a stroke victim from the States, but he's Vietnamese, going down the street in his wheelchair. I just nodded and said hello, and he said hello back. It was like a real American hello. I nodded. Turns out he moved there when he was 17, part of the Vietnam end of war, and became an American citizen. And now he came back to Vietnam. He could not afford to live in the States with his pension and his Social Security, and so he came back here, had a stroke. He was a truck driver. His truck driving experience in the United States. I've got other Vietnamese friends. The landlord is my friend. I've got a girlfriend. I've got everything that I need here. Everything is very friendly towards outsiders, is the best I can say. So to me, that's the key to all of this. I hang out with Larry, and Larry and I have our meetings, and we talk food and what's going on in the world, and all those kinds of things. And I'm a reader, so I read, and I haven't found anybody to play chess with yet. So I'm looking for that.
You might get it from this video. Richard, finish this sentence for me. Don't come here if you think it's going to be...
Ooh. It's not a mini United States. It's a different culture. I honestly think once a person gets here, and if they spend a year here, they won't want to go back. There are people here from all over Europe that don't want to go back. Some of them move to Da Nang to have the big city experience, but Dalat is a small city, easy to get around in. It's easy to meet people. I can't imagine going back. Sorry.
Do come here if you're looking for what?
Slow down your pace. If you're struggling to get by in the United States, you can probably live here easily with the money that you have with your Social Security. I mean, I literally came with $2,000 in my pocket. I would want you to come here with no less than 5 or 10, just to make sure that you have enough to, if you panic and want to go back or something like that. But my feeling is if you've got the money to get here and to pay about 3 months rent, and eating is easy. It's not a hard country to have enough food. I mean, there are vendors everywhere on the street corner if that's what you want to eat. When I decided that I wasn't getting any healthier trying to eat a standard American diet here, went off and did carnivore. So that's where I'm at now.
And so what about your girlfriend? How did you meet your girlfriend?
She was a Grab driver.
Oh.
And she grabbed me.
So Grab, for people who don't know, is like Uber in the States. It's like a online taxi service, and they'll bring food to your house too. Do you use Grab ever for food?
No. I'm pretty much, my maid makes everything for me now. So
wow.
I'm in a good position now. So and I've never felt healthier. I've lost probably 15 pounds, and I'm feeling the best I've ever felt. Of course, I could drop dead tomorrow, but I go to the gym every other day, so all is good.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thanks again, Richard. We really appreciate it. You take care.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
To see all the resources we have to help you retire overseas, watch this video right here. And to see that video where I interviewed Larry that Richard and I just talked about, that's over here.